Salam, peace be upon you. Our story of change, part 22. What is causal influence? Where we are. Let us take a slow breath and remember where we are. We have been building something careful. We started with a cup. The cup was whole. Then the cup was broken. Everyone saw it happen. But we refused to say, time passed, so it changed. That felt too easy, too magical, too hard for strangers to check. Instead, we built folders called state packages. Each folder holds a snapshot of something at one moment. What we looked at, how we looked, what we are allowed to claim, how uncertain we honestly are, and the trail so anyone can repeat our looking. Then we built receipts called update certificates. These receipts prove that one folder legally leads to another folder. They pass through 8 gates, like 8 checkpoints. If a receipt fails a gate, we do not accept it. We write a refusal certificate instead and put it in a special drawer called the negative archive, so we remember what did not work. Then we built an immune system. If we discover an old receipt was wrong, we revoke it. And we revoke everything that depended on it. We call this a revocation dossier. Then we built a graph. Dots are folders. Lines are receipts. The whole drawing is called graph G sub U. We said a universe is not a place, it is a connected record. Then we built order, not from clocks, from chains. We said S1 comes before S2 if you can walk from the first folder to the second folder by stepping along receipt lines. Then we built propagation limits. We said a change can only spread along paths that have legal receipts with open gates. No distance, no speed, only connectivity and permission. Then we built transformers. We said a law is not an equation on paper. A law is a registered machine that turns one folder into another. Every transformer lives in a public registry with its full declaration. Then we built composition. We said, we can put transformers together in a chain, but only if the types match and all gates still pass. Then we built conservation. We said, a quantity is conserved under a family of transformers if every valid receipt in that family shows it stays the same, within uncertainty. Then we built interaction. We said, two things interact when you cannot split the change into separate receipts for each thing. Interaction is certified non-factorization. Then we built equations. We said, equations are not assumed. They are what remains after all illegal updates are refused. Equations are survival conditions. Then we built branching. We said, multiple possible next steps appear when ceilings are low and uncertainty is high. The branch set is all the folders that could legally come next. Then we built probability. We said, probability is not magic. It is a certified assignment rule over the branch set based on evidence with normalization and invariance tests. Then we built coarse graining. We said, macro is not a different universe. Macro is a declared information discard. To move from a detailed folder to a simpler one, you must use a registered interface that says what you keep and what you throw away. Then we built the arrow. We said, irreversibility appears when information is discarded. The arrow is not a cosmic clock. It is a bookkeeping consequence of declared information loss. Then we built objects. We said, a thing is what remains the same across certified change. Objects are not primitive entities. They are stability certificates, patterns that persist through many updates. Now we have many folders. many receipts, many transformers, many families, many patterns. And we have learned to be honest about what we know, what we do not know, what we choose to ignore, what cannot be undone, and what stays the same. And now we face a new question, a question at the heart of how we understand the world. What does it mean for one thing to cause another? The opening scene, the dominoes. Imagine a row of dominoes standing on a table. You walk up to the first one. You push it. It falls. It hits the next one. That one falls, then the next, until all have fallen. Everyone would say, your push caused the dominoes to fall. But what does that really mean? In ordinary life, we say one thing led to another. But that is just a story. We need something more careful. In our world, we have a different answer. Causality becomes a statement about reachable certified outcomes under legal interventions. Spoken slowly. Influence exists when a legal intervention changes the set of possible next steps. No legal intervention, no causal claim. No comparison of branches, no cause. The big idea here is what we discover. To talk about cause, we need two things. First, we need an intervention. A legal change we make to a folder. A push, a flip, a drop. Something we do within the rules with a registered transformer. Second, we need to compare what happens with the intervention to what happens without it, or with a different intervention. If the set of possible next steps, the branch set, changes when we intervene, then we have influence. If the branch set stays the same, then our intervention made no difference. That is causal influence. Not magic, not hidden forces, just a comparison of branches under different actions. The dominoes in our language. Let us translate the dominoes. We have a folder S. It shows the dominoes standing. We have an intervention I. Push the first domino. That is a legal transformer. It passes the gates. It produces a new folder S prime, where the first domino is falling. Now we look at the branch set from S prime. What are the possible next steps? They include the second domino falls, then the third, and so on. The branch set is a chain of falling dominoes. Now compare to a different intervention I2. Do nothing. Just leave the dominoes alone. From that folder, the branch set is different. The dominoes just stand there. Maybe they wobble slightly, but they do not fall in a chain. The branch sets are different. Therefore, the intervention made a difference. That difference is causal influence. The important turn. Now we say something that sounds strange at first, but becomes obvious. Causality is not about what would have happened. It is about comparing actual certified branches under actual legal interventions. We do not tell stories about imaginary worlds. We compare real branch sets. If you push the domino, you get falling branches. If you do not push, you get standing branches. The difference is the cause. No storytelling, just branch comparison. The counterfactual rule. Now, we must be very careful. People often talk about counterfactuals. If I had not pushed, the dominoes would still be standing. That is a story. It is not a certified statement unless we can actually compare the two branches. In our world, counterfactuals are allowed only if they are represented as alternate certified branches under explicit interventions. That means we must have a legal intervention a one that we actually performed. We must have a legal intervention, two, that we could have performed and that is registered. We must have the branch sets for both, certified by actual receipts or by a registered probability measure. We compare them. If we cannot do that, the counterfactual is just a story. It is refused. The light switch example. Imagine a light switch on the wall. You flip it up. The light turns on. Causal claim: flipping the switch caused the light to turn on. How do we certify this? We need two interventions. 1. Flip the switch up. 2. Do nothing. From the folder with 1, the branch set includes light on. From the folder with 2, the branch set includes light off, assuming no other changes. The branch sets differ. Therefore, flipping the switch makes a difference. That difference is causal influence. Now, what about the counterfactual? If I had not flipped the switch, the light would be off. That is a comparison of the two branch sets. It is certified because we have the two interventions and their outcomes. The intervention recipe. Now we build something new, the intervention recipe. An intervention is not just any change. It is a legal modification that we make on purpose within passport constraints. Every intervention must have a recipe. It must say which transformer is being applied, what the input folder is, what the expected output branch set is, how we know the intervention was performed correctly, what gates were checked. This recipe is public. Anyone can replay it. Anyone can check that the intervention was legal. Without the recipe, an intervention is not certified. And without the certified intervention, no causal claim. The medicine example. Imagine a new medicine. You want to know, does it cure headaches? You cannot just ask people. You need interventions. Intervention 1.1. Give the medicine. Intervention 1.2. Give a sugar pill, placebo. You compare the branch sets. From the medicine group, the branch set includes headache gone within an hour with some probability. From the placebo group, the branch set includes headache gone but with lower probability. The branch sets differ. Therefore, the medicine has causal influence. Notice, you do not need to know how it works. You just need to compare branches under different interventions. That is causal influence. The no smuggling rule. Now, a very important rule. You cannot smuggle in causality with words like because or therefore without evidence. You cannot say the ball moved because it was pushed. That is a story. You must show the intervention, the push. The branch sat with the push, the branch sat without the push, that they differ. If you cannot, the claim is refused. Gate 8 catches this. No smuggled primitives. Causality is not a primitive. It is a comparison of certified branches. The two gardeners example. Imagine two gardeners. One waters the plants every day. The other does not. At the end of the month, the watered plants are taller. Causal claim. Watering caused the plants to grow taller. To certify this, we need Intervention 1.1, water daily. Intervention 1.2, do not water. Branch sets for both, measured over time. Comparison showing they differ. If the gardeners also use different soil, different sunlight, different seeds, then the comparison is not clean. The interventions are not isolated. The causal claim is weak. In our world, we would issue a refusal or a downgrade. We would say, influence is not cleanly separable. Interaction with other factors prevents a simple causal claim. The influence certificate. When we have a clean comparison, we issue an influence certificate. It records the starting folder S, the two interventions, I1 and I2, the branch sets for each, the comparison showing they differ, the transformer recipes for the interventions, the gate reports showing legality, the uncertainty bounds, the scope, which domains, which conditions. This certificate is public. Anyone can check it. Anyone can try to replicate the interventions and see if they get the same branch sets. The stress test, renaming, again. Now we do our stress test again. Suppose we rename everything. Phi goes to phi plus c. Do causal claims survive? They must. If watering causes growth under one set of names, it must cause growth under any equivalent set of names. If the causal claim disappears under renaming, then it was depending on labels, not on real structure. That is not allowed. Gate 4 catches this. The predictions. Now we make predictions, not prophecies. Predictions like receipts, things we can check. Prediction 1. Causal claims require at least 2 certified interventions. No comparison, no cause. Prediction 2. Interventions must have legal recipes. No recipe, no intervention. Prediction 3. Causal influence is shown by differences in branch sets. If branch sets are the same, no influence. Prediction 4. Counterfactuals are allowed only as comparisons of certified branches under explicit interventions. Prediction 5. Causal claims survive the rename everything test. If they fail, they are invalid. These are simple. They can be tested. They can be audited. The failure signatures. Now we list the ways causal claims can fail. Each failure produces a refusal certificate that goes into the negative archive. Failure 1. No intervention. Someone says A causes B, but does not specify a legal intervention. Refused. Failure 2. One intervention only. Someone only shows what happens with the intervention, not what happens without it. No comparison. Refused. Failure 3. Branch sets identical. The intervention made no difference to the possible next steps. No causal influence. Failure 4. Intervention not legal. The so-called intervention failed gates or used an unregistered transformer. Refused. Failure 5. Recipe missing. The intervention has no recipe. Others cannot replay it. Refused. Failure 6. Rename failure. The causal claim disappears under phi goes to phi plus c. Refused. Failure 7. Uncertainty too large. The difference in branch sets is smaller than the uncertainty. It could be noise. Refused. Failure 8. Interaction not accounted. Other factors changed alongside the intervention. The influence is not cleanly separable. Refused or downgraded. Failure 9. Counterfactual without representation. Someone says, if X had happened, then Y, but cannot show the alternate branch set under a legal intervention. Refused. Failure 10. Smuggled primitive. Someone uses cause as a magic word without branch comparison. Gate 8 catches this. The baking example. Imagine baking bread. You try 2 interventions. I1, add yeast. I2, do not add yeast. The branch sets. With yeast, bread rises, soft texture, many possible variations. Without yeast, bread flat, dense texture. The branch sets differ. Therefore, adding yeast causally influences the bread's rise. Now, could you say the yeast caused the bread to rise? Yes, because you have the comparison. You have the two interventions. You have the branch sets. But note, you do not need to know the chemistry. You just need the comparison. That is causal influence in our world. The child's question. Someone asks, so if I drop a glass and it breaks, did my dropping cause the break? We say, yes, if you can compare. Compare what? Compare what happens when you drop it to what happens when you do not drop it. If the branch sets differ, if breaking is in one set and not in the other, then dropping is a cause. But what if it was already cracked? Then the branch sets might be different. A cracked glass might break more easily. Your drop still made a difference, but the crack also mattered. You might need more careful interventions to separate them. So, cause is not simple. Cause is comparison. It is as simple or as complex as the branches you can compare. The main lesson. Let us say it one more time in the simplest words we can find. Causality is a statement about reachable, certified outcomes under legal interventions. If you change something legally and the set of possible next steps changes, then you have influence. If you cannot change something legally, you cannot claim it as a cause. If you cannot compare what happens with and without the change, you cannot claim causality. No intervention, no cause. No comparison, no cause. What causality is not. Now we say what causality is not. Causality is not a hidden connection between events. It is a comparison of branches. Causality is not a force flowing from cause to effect. It is a pattern in what happens when we intervene. Causality is not about time. The dominoes fall forward in order. But the causal claim is about the intervention, not about time passing. Causality is not about why, it is about what difference does this make. The dominoes at the end. Remember the dominoes? You push the first one, they all fell. The causal claim. Your push caused the fall. Certified by intervention, the push, legal, registered. No intervention branch, domino standing. Push branch, dominoes falling. Comparison, different. That is all. No magic, no hidden force, just branches and comparison. The Influence Certificate Registry. Now we have something new in our notebook, the Influence Certificate Registry. It lists every certified causal claim. For each, it records the starting folder, the two interventions compared, the branch sets for each, the comparison showing difference, the intervention recipes, the gate reports, the uncertainty bounds, the scope, the date of certification. This registry is public. Anyone can check it. Anyone can try to replicate the interventions. If someone finds that the branch sets do not actually differ, the certificate is revoked. The Honest Scientist. Imagine a scientist studying a new drug. She does not just say the drug cures the disease. She runs trials. Intervention group gets the drug. Control group gets placebo. She compares the outcomes. She calculates the branch sets. She shows the difference. Then she issues an influence certificate. It says, under these conditions, with these patients, this drug changes the branch set from sick to healthy with this probability. That is science. That is honesty. That is causality without smuggling. What comes next? Now we have causality. We have a way to talk about influence through interventions and branch comparisons. We have influence certificates and the registry. Next, we will ask, How do these ideas connect to what people call laws of nature? How do we get from local causal claims to general principles? Those are for later parts. For now, we rest here. We have causality as a statement about reachable certified outcomes under legal interventions. Not magic, not hidden forces, just branches and comparison. And we built it all from one simple idea. Influence exists when a legal intervention changes the set of possible next steps. That is part 22. That is what causal influence is. That is our story so far. Always, peace be upon you.